Welcome back to Life of the Dream. I'm your host, Jeremy, and let's see. In this episode, we don't have a ton going on, actually. I had a pretty chill night tonight. I worked pretty long hours last week. Try to get some good data for this grant that I'm proposing. Hopefully, fingers crossed, trying to get some money to do some research for my project. And it was kind of a long shot. I needed this data, and I was like, this would be really good if I could get it, but I didn't know if it was even real. And I went in the lab, had a hypothesis, and just ran it, and it worked. And I was like that never happens. It just never does. So I was super stoked about that. But it was literally the last experiment I did. So Friday night I ran it. I really didn't even want to run it because I'd done 5 or 6 experiments throughout the week before that, and I was just defeated. I'd never done that much work in my life, and then I ran it, nothing worked that whole week. And then I came back on Sunday and looked at the data, and I was like, oh my god, it worked. I was so excited. So that was super cool. Now I'm just in the process of writing the grant and getting it putting all the stuff together for it. So I already have a template for it. I kind of had an idea of what I wanted to do earlier this year. So I don't imagine it'll take that much time, but we'll see how it goes. But yeah, I got that. And other than that, my life has been pretty I don't know, I haven't had a ton going on. The big thing for this past weekend, I went up to um my girlfriend, her family has a ranch in Wyoming, which I thought was really far away from Denver, but it's actually only Wyoming's only 2 hours away from Denver, 2.5 maybe. So it was lit. We were in the middle of nowhere. Someone asked me on a map tonight. They were like, where were you when you were up there that weekend? And I was I literally I couldn't tell you. But it was cool. We rode these I forget what she called them, but they're these not ATVs, but they have the thing that goes over them too. So they're you can sit in them comfortably. I forget exactly what they're called, but that was cool. And they're pretty much at trails out there just for those. So we were just cruising around doing that, and then just a lot of good conversations and just hanging out. So a lot of good cooking too. So yeah, overall just a really solid weekend. And um yeah, no. Um I'm just kind of chilling this week. It's more of a writing week, so I'm just kind of I think trying to mentally grab myself back into reality of I think I'm kind of starting to hit a little bit of a burnout, because this push since September has been crazy with the marathon, and I knew this grant was gonna get me right before the holidays, but um I just gotta hold on for one more month. I think once I get to Christmas, it really will all be done, and I can just kind of just veg out for a couple weeks and just kind of do my own thing without having too much pressure. So pretty excited for that. But I actually thought of the wisdom of this week this past actually yesterday. I ended up leaving work a little early. This is something I really like about academia is when you're when you're I don't even know. I guess when you have the luxury to take time when you need it, it's there, which I rarely do. But Monday I was just feeling super out of it from I think just working all week and really putting in a lot of time. So I was I'm gonna take a couple hours for myself and just walk through the park close to my house. And wisdom of this week for this week actually goes out. Shout out to my mom. She always sends me these I don't know. I want to say she probably gets them on like Facebook or something, but just these like, they're usually just like cool pictures and then they have like quotes over them. And especially on like the worst days, sometimes I read one of those and I'm just like, okay, that's like just what I needed, you know? So shout out my mom for the one time. Um, but like I said, I was just feeling so overwhelmed and like, um, and I just felt like I didn't have a lot of like time just to like for myself to just like think about all the data I was doing and like really fully process what was going on and just like discounted solitude like heavily. And while I was out on this walk, like the park that I go to, like over like you can see the mountains so well. And basically the quote my mom sent that day was just like take time to I don't even know, I'm gonna butcher it, but essentially the way I took it was like basically just take time to see like a moment for what it is, and especially in terms of nature, like you're just so lost in the nature that you're like looking at the birds, the trees. In this case it was like the mountains and like this pond, and it was just like I truly just like let my mind run on something else for just a second. And like honestly it was only like 5 minutes and I was just so like all the stressors that I had just like went away for a little while. And then like of course as soon as like my mind returned to them, like they were back. But all of a sudden it was like this, the best way I can describe it is just like it was just like it was a totally different perspective on things. And I just hence why the episode is titled Plain Sight, because um I think what I realized is that like all this stuff was always in front of me all the time, and it is just hidden in plain sight. And any stressor you have, anything that you're worrying about, like I truly do think the answer is right under your nose and literally you're looking at it, right? And it's just a matter of can you find the answer? And I think what I sort of concluded from just those 5-10 minutes of just looking at the mountains and allowing myself to just sort of like float wherever my mind wanted to float is that you can. I don't know if you guys have ever put together a puzzle before, but something my dad had like a really cool strategy with puzzles. And I don't know why it worked like this, but like you could stare at the puzzle for like an hour and just like you know, it always like starts like rapid fire and you get a few and like your mind's working well, and then after a while like your mind, everything just like starts to feel the same, and like usually like get fewer pieces. And then you find if you just like take a break, don't think about it for a little while, walk away, do something else for like 10-15 minutes and come back, your mind is like everything like pops out again, and it's like this new perspective that you have. And kind of like the puzzle, like the piece that you're looking for is there, your brain just like isn't seeing it, like it's hidden in plain sight, right? Like the answer is there, but sometimes like there's like too much stress clouding you, or like you're just not, your brain like for some reason is just looking at the problem in a way that is not productive to you getting the answer, right? And what I realized is like if you just like step away, really just look somewhere else, and realize like for me, for this case, like yeah I was stressed about this and that, but I realized like when you like take a step back and just look at things for what they are, I don't know, for me I was just like I'm like regardless, I'm like I'm alive, you know. It just like kind of takes you out of it to this like grand-esque view where you're just like at the end of the day you always have all these obligations, things to get done, things to do, but in reality like the nature's still gonna be there. You're still gonna have a life. Like you're not gonna die if you don't meet the deadline. You know, it's like all this stuff kind of like you realize is not that deep, and you just kind of let it go. And I think seeing the mountains, like for me, the hidden in plain sight was that the mountains were always there, right? And I could have walked out any day and gone to the park, regardless of, oh, I don't have time. I don't have time. It doesn't take long. Like I live so close to the park, and um, I just like told my, you know, like I was like, oh, you know, I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. And like, I just took literally 5 minutes the mountains were always there, right? They were almost like just waiting for me. And I finally just like went outside, just looked, and I was like, oh, this is so much better. Like so much better. So that's the wisdom I'd like to give to you guys for this week. Like if you're feeling stressed, even if you're not, and like I always think like when in doubt, just get like 10, 15 minutes of solitude. Granted, like if you've gone 4 days without talking to anyone, like probably maybe you want to like talk to someone then, probably. But like if you've been locked in, if you've been having a tough day, just like let your mind run for a little bit, let it unwind, and then like everything just like seems to become easy and just like work itself out. So that's Life of the Germ. Hope you enjoyed. My life's been pretty boring, but I thought this was some good wisdom for you guys. So thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.